And all right, well, let's go ahead and start this. And some of you may know Matt Blanchard with Academy Mortgage, as he's been pretty integral in our market center and centers. And if you don't, he's definitely somebody that you want to find time to get together with, and a great partner on many different ventures, and just a great loan officer working for a great company. And you're going to be seeing more of him as we progress. And him and I were talking the other day, and he had a great opportunity. You know, one of the things that we struggle with is agents in this lack of inventory is listings, and also trying to be as competitive as you can possibly be. And I think a lot of times we as agents tend to just fall within the realm of what's in our direct purview. But having a great relationship with a loan officer such as Matt, and sharing some of the tricks that they have in their arsenal to help you enhance your offer for your client are all the more important. So we said, let's go ahead and get this in front of you guys so that you can understand how the optics of things and what you can do to enhance any of your buyer clients' offers. So Matt, I truly appreciate you coming and sharing this. You've always been so given with our agents in our market center. I want to turn it over to you to kind of talk a little bit more about this, and appreciate your time today.
Happy to be here. So, I mean, this has been a brainchild of mine, because I think what all of you may not always remember and understand or realize is we're always in the buyer's seat. I never have the opportunity to bring in a listing. So it incentivizes me to get more listings on the market, because then my buyers have more opportunity, and I can write more pre-approvals, which is what I want to do. So I've been sitting back thinking and listening and hearing, so many people are hung up with the idea of, I don't want to sell because I don't know where I'm going to go. So this presentation is to speak to that, to hopefully open up what I call the listing logjam. So before I jump in, some great stats and I always start with what's going on in the market to help understand what's happening. Average, 30-year fixed rate has come up substantially, and jumbo loans and 30 years are back in line. They're about the same for the first time since before the pandemic. We're expecting more Americans to move. We've got more cash buyers. Existing home sales are up. Inventory is at an all-time low. You guys know all of this. You're feeling it, you're seeing it, you're dealing with it every day, but there's math and statistics that actually back all of it up. And this is some of it presented to you. So I'm a numbers guy. I'm kind of a geek like that. So I like to look at the data, and the data backs up the argument that this is a fantastic time to sell. So, I'm trying to help you with a potential listing that may be on the fence because they don't know why they should sell. Well, here's the information you need. Home sales are down month over month, but up year over year. And the home prices are way up. I mean, if you look here, 15.8% median home prices up. You jump down to Northeast sales are up, but median sales price in the Northeast is up 20% year over year. People are staying longer. I mean, this is the battle that we're fighting. People are staying in their houses longer. The 10-year in a home right now is 10 years. Longest it's been since World War II, and double what it was from 1985 to 2007. So here's the 30-year fixed rate. I mean, going up quickly. This is from January 1st to today. Interest rates have moved from mid twos to low threes. And here is our favorite website, Tim, North Shore Realtors. They do a market statistic every month. Here are our local market statistics. So year over year median sales price here, and this is the last real year over year that we're going to have before the world got turned upside down. So February to February is pre-pandemic to pre-pandemic. Everything from now on is going to be skewed. So this is a really good data point to look at. February to February, year over year, we're still up 11%. But here's the story. Inventory is down 59%. I was in your meeting yesterday, and to see Keller Williams numbers up despite inventory being down is pretty impressive. I'll give you that. So Here's the steady build for those of you, like many of us who are visual, just keep going up. And I pulled this little visual here because days on market has dropped from 36 days to 20 days year over year. So this little number right here is why I pulled this. But it shows how quickly homes are selling. 20 days on market. It's absurd. So what's the median age of a first-time home buyer? 33 years old. So what we're seeing now is the demographics are in favor of this crazy market. This is a really, really cool image to focus on and to look at. As it swells, as this image swells or widens, it shows the largest number of age group demographics. And you can see right here, we've got the largest demographic is ages 26 to 33. Average age of a first-time home buyer is 33 years old. The second largest group is right here. This is what we call like the boomers, the early 60s. So what we're going to try and do and focus on here is how do we incentivize those sellers in that market to move to free up space for this large number of 26 to 33-year-olds. So what I'm doing is I'm continuing to show you the data and the statistics to show why this is such a great time to sell. This statistic is fascinating. This is credit applications for purchase mortgages. This is by credit score. This light blue number or light blue bar graph here are 760 and above applicants. We have the best applicant pool in history for mortgages. If you look back here up until 2007, this dark blue, this is 620 and below, right? So if you look here, we've got some lower credit scores, and then we've got a higher number of credit scores, much higher credit scores that land up into the mid sevens. But here, right now, we've got unbelievable credit scores coming through. Because we've tightened up so much as an industry, people with low credit scores really, sadly, sometimes don't even bother applying. So we've got replacement buyers. We've got people young coming in. We've got incredibly good applications coming in. We've got the lowest inventory. Interest rates are still incredibly low. Historically low is the term you're hearing often. We've got rising wages, despite the fact that we're coming out of this pandemic, the wage numbers are going up. We've got high credit applications, home equity everywhere, which we know because median home values are going up. And the replacement buyer is the largest demographic in the country right now. Real home price index is a combination of interest rate and how much actually feels, or how it actually feels to pay your mortgage every month. And it's arguably the most affordable it's ever felt because interest rates are the lowest they've ever been, or near the lowest they've ever been. And we just got statistics out. I couldn't find a good graph for it, but we have the largest amount of money in savings per American we've had in decades, almost 100 years. So we've got more money in the bank too. All of this adds to the fact that it's a seller's market. So here's what we do. We have to have conversations. So you all have listings and people will say to you, well, I don't want to sell yet because I don't know where I'm going to go. What I'm going to offer to you and encourage you to do is have your sellers talk to a lender first, way earlier than they ever would have, maybe before they've even decided to list, to talk about their options. They have really good options. If they know that they're going to be in the house for like 6 months, a lot of these people who are selling, think of that boomer demographic, right? The 4-bedroom colonial that they've been in and the taxes are way higher than they want to spend. Refinance. They've been in the house for 30 years. They've got equity. Take the cash now, get situated. This is the longest play, right? If you're going to refinance and take cash out, refinancing takes time, takes 45 days. And ideally, we like to see them hold that mortgage for 6 months before they, cash out or before they sell the house or cancel the mortgage. So they have the ability to refinance and utilize some of this equity. The second option, and I'm doing this right now for somebody, if you're retired, just because you have a fixed income or a lower income, that doesn't limit you to just your income for qualifying. We can qualify people based on their assets. This is a little known underwriting fact for many of you. We can actually divide the total number of assets by 240, which is 240 months, and we can use that income as a qualifiable monthly income. So you've got someone retired, a really strong, healthy 401k. I can use that 401k or IRA as actual income, even though they're not pulling from it right now. So you think about that 4-bedroom colonial, somebody who's retired, Social Security, they say, I can't sell my house, I can't move until I sell my house. Well, I would argue that they probably can. They might even be able to get a mortgage right now while they still have this house and go start shopping as a buyer. I could potentially qualify them today. So you can also take a loan out against your investment accounts. You can borrow for 60 days. If you have the cash and you want to just borrow, most 401ks allow for a short-term borrow, which if they can pull it together, that's a fantastic option as well. Delayed closings, as a seller, we all know it's a seller's market, right? You've got offers, you've got dozens and dozens of offers in. List your house today, and I'm sure, Tim, you guys have already talked about this, but if we can get them to the point of listing, they don't need to move out right away. Maybe we have a 90-day closing and say, of the 12 offers that I've gotten in, is there anybody who's willing to let us stay for 90 days, 120 days, perhaps? You'd be amazed how many people are shopping, buyers are shopping right now, who are going to cancel their leases because they just want to get out early because they're nervous that they're never going to find something. I've got buyers who say, I'm out shopping now, and if I have to cancel my lease and pay 2 months, I will. So as a seller, you could absolutely have somebody who's dying to stay in their apartment for 2 more months, but is just nervous about missing the market and not finding something, so they're out shopping today. So this delayed closing is a definite viable option. And then the rent back or lease back, the first time I heard anybody publicly talking about this, saying that it's a go, was Justin Rep on his Instagram story, was like, lease back, lease back, lease back, lease back. And at the time, we've done lease backs, but attorneys had always said, we hate lease backs. They're a nightmare. Every attorney I know right now is like, yep, lease backs are fine. Yep, if you need to do a lease back, absolutely go for it. What it means is that the sellers would sell the house and stay in the home as a renter, essentially. But when you're staying in your house and you're now renting, you've received the funds from the sale of your home. You're walking around with a giant, check that you've just received, and you can become a cash buyer. You have no need for Matt Blanchard at Academy Mortgage even. So I think this is a really fantastic option. And it's not even like a financing trick. It's just, working out the position that the sellers are in, where they have this control or this capability to negotiate. You could even combine the two, this delayed financing leaseback combination that allows for a long closing with a leaseback option. What you're doing is you're allowing your sellers all this time to get out and shop, and then potentially come in and close with a check, cash in hand. They can write an offer with pre-approval ahead of time and just close in cash. It would probably surprise you and amaze you how many people are going in now with cash offers and doing backdoor financing, where they put the offer in cash, they call me and they say, Matt, I'm under agreement. I've never even heard about the property. I never wrote a pre-approval letter, but now they're calling me and saying, I need a mortgage on this property. I'm closing in 40 days, or I'm closing in 30 days. Can you do it? Rather than, come in hot and heavy like that, you could structure it where they have a delayed financing and a lease back afterwards. Looks like we've got a chat coming in.
Just me.
Got it. One of the things that we're hearing And it's funny, I'm bringing this up only because every time I talk to somebody in this position who really needs the push, I'm hearing this argument of I have too much stuff. I mean, I'm sure you've all heard this. Linda, I see you're on the call. I'm sure people have said this to you, like, what am I going to do with all my stuff? I'm not a realtor, and they're talking to me about this stuff. Well, there are professional organizing companies that for a couple $1,000s will literally come in with like red, blue, purple, green tape and organize the entire rooms. They will put everything in the boxes that they need and make moving a breeze, and to categorize and organize all of this stuff that that the sellers are concerned about. And when you're going to make 10 to 15% more on your house than you anticipated last year, writing a small check for an organizational company I don't think it's all that far-fetched. The house swap is a really interesting idea, and I know a couple of realtors who have done this. This goes back to the old school door knocking of, I've got someone in this colonial who really wants to downsize and live in a really small house in a certain area. Well, there's a potential that someone in that smaller house in that little neighborhood wants to move up. Why not see if you can just broker the whole thing? Go out and start knocking on doors of the ideal house and say, hey, I've got a client who wants to downsize. Any chance you want to upsize? And see if you can make it happen. I know that this is happening right now in Beverly. I know a realtor who was able to do it. They just randomly had, 2 clients looking for the same things, and they put it together. So this is a really interesting way to show value to your potential seller, where you're out actually trying to find them the house that's not on the market. So after you've convinced your seller to move and that they should be out shopping, and that Matt's come and looked at their information, I've written their new pre-approval letter. What if they're out shopping now with a pre-approval, but they haven't sold their house? We're going to try and write it non-contingent. That's the game plan always, because we know contingent offers are not being accepted. But the optics of the offer are everything right now. So you don't just necessarily want to be the highest offer, right? That's great. And the highest offer may be the winner, but there are other ways to be a really strong offer. You have to be prepared to move fast. We're writing pre-approvals all weekend. Offers should be, you should have your pre-approval letter Sunday night, offers in Sunday night, because they're due at 12 o'clock on Monday now. I mean, the old days of, Wednesday at 5 are long gone. And everybody's waiving everything. They're waiving appraisals, waiving commitment. Well, your client, your new seller who's going to go buy their next house may not be overly concerned about financing commitment, because they're actually going to sell their house. That's the crux to this whole thing. I'm going to write a pre-approval letter for them that's non-contingent to get them out and shopping and get them under agreement, but you're going to sell their house before we ever need my mortgage or need it for what it says in its entirety. You're going to sell their house, and they're going to roll all that cash in, and you're going to sell their house quick. And my pre-approval letter is just to get them under agreement. So this new tactic of waiving the commitment is a pretty strong setup for you, where you can compete with cash. Your sellers, your new buyers can compete with cash. Ask to have it pre-underwritten, have it really looked at and vetted beforehand, and hopefully you can compete in this crazy market. Always do address specific pre-approvals. I don't do TBD pre-approvals anymore. I think it's a waste of paper. The sellers want to know that your property is specific. We're going to try and get rid of a home sale contingency altogether and hope that they can carry both, and utilize your lender when you're listing. So this is just that last little caveat. If you're on the listing side, make sure you're talking to your lender about who's good, who's bad, who's moving slow. I can tell you every bank who's moving quickly and who's moving slowly. We all talk, we all know what's going on. Utilize your lender when you're the listing agent. Call and say, hey, can I have a conversation with you? what's your feeling on, this local bank versus this direct lender? So here's my final thought. Tried to keep this to about a half an hour with some Q&A. Rates are rising. We want rates to rise. So what that's going to do is it's going to cool down this crazy market that we're in. Rising interest rates are good for the world. It means that we're moving out of the pandemic. We are getting shots in arms. I talked about this yesterday. Shots in arms means interest rates are going up. That's good. It's healthy. People are back to work. And we have more people ready to buy than we've ever had. The number of new purchase applications is growing every day. We have a very healthy number of replacement buyers with good credit that have the highest wage we've seen in a long time. And they're young and they're ready to go. They're organized and they understand what the market looks like. This is the makeup demand that we've got from last year where people just didn't sell. First-time home buyer, this is a little nugget I wanted to throw in. First-time home buyer inventory is going to be incredibly low, is my prediction. We're not building a lot of new first-time home buyer houses. Where we usually see a big turnover for first-time home buyers is houses that are, people are almost forced to sell. With forbearance right now, people who are in financial trouble don't need to sell like they used to. So they're living in their house with forbearance. I think it's going to be 2022 before we really start to see the forbearance after effects of people moving out. So for this market, this spring and this summer, I don't think we're going to see a ton of first-time home buyer inventory turnover because of financial duress. We have a ton of millennials, a ton of young people moving out of the city, all competing over the same price point. And back to that demographic, rates are going to stay low. We are hearing more about inflation. If we do hear inflation, we will see rising interest rates, but still historically low. My term of the week or of the spring, buyers are savings bonds. You hold on to them, you keep them around, but the sellers are the cash advance. I mean, as soon as you get a listing, it's going to sell. So the more we can do to get those listings on, the better it is for all of us, especially the guy writing the pre-approval letters. And I think there's a really good argument to be made that this is the best time in history to sell. And I think that's what I'm trying to give everybody here, is to help with that argument in case you do have any sellers who may be on the fence. So that's my presentation. And I'm done with my screen share. Does anybody have any questions?
Who's the company that will go in and tag everything and sell stuff?
Their name is Organize ER. Robin Curry, I can give you her name. Was that Linda?
Yes.
Yeah, Linda, I'll shoot you a text with her information. I can do it right now, actually, while we're on the phone. While we're on the call. It's crazy. I've seen pictures of what they do, and they literally come in with magic markers and tape, and they put everything in the boxes, and you can sit there and have someone tell you exactly what to do, and you delegate. And they do it all for you pretty fast. And for a guy like me, I would love to pay someone to help with that. It's definitely not my strong suit. Any other questions?
Matt, thanks for doing this. I missed the first bit of it. Do you mind sharing either your slides or a link to this recording so I could catch up on that?
You got it, Elliot. Tim is currently recording this, so the recording should be available, and I can send you the slides, no problem. And I'm happy to run through it with you later. If that's helpful.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
You got it. So, Linda, here is Robin's info. Organize ER.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You got it. Anybody else? This was a small group, and I hope I didn't go too fast, but I like to give the background as to why we are where we are. And I've been doing this a lot for the realtor partners that I work with. This morning I had 2 of these calls to talk to people who are retired about what they qualify for before they sell their house. So it's definitely a relevant topic to many, many people, especially those who just got their second shots, who are like, yeah, I think we're ready.
Okay.
Anyone else? All right, Greg, thank you for joining. If anybody has any questions, feel free to give me a ring. Happy to chat.
Thank you for your time, Matt.
You
Appreciate it.
got it, Linda. Absolutely. I'll talk to y'all soon.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.